couldn't afford it.
$1 million.
Oh man, the thing about this episode that's so great, it's just so much Mark Hamill, right?
There is so much Mark Hamill. And I am so conflicted about this episode. We're gonna have some discussions about this episode. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we're kind of both in the same boat a little bit. I think so. I think we are, because not a lot of meat on this bone, but there is. It's just, there's just something about this episode where it's just like, I remember it being a little bit more exciting, but
See,
then
I don't. I
but then I'm
remember
like,
this
maybe I'm
exactly the
remembering
way it
another
is.
episode. See, maybe I'm remembering a different episode. I don't know. But anyways, guys, welcome to DC Fan-imated. I'm, of course, Dave the Film Junkie. With me, as always, Mr. Scott McClone.
I'm the Joker. Thank
Yes,
you. Not the
both
real
of us.
villain of the story, by the way.
I don't think so.
No, I can tell you the moment the real villain of this story appears.
Oh yeah, it's definitely and it was funny going into this episode, and I was like, wait, I was trying to remember how it played out, and then I went, before we get that reveal, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because I was
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot when it came to my memory. I thought there was a little bit more excitement when it came to this episode. So,
Funny enough, though, actually adapted from a story in the comics, which I didn't realize how far back it goes.
how far back does it go?
Okay, it goes. Let me find my notes. Okay, The Joker's Millions was a story published in Detective Comics number 180, which has a cover date of February of 1952.
So that's pretty far back.
Yeah, it's still credited to Bob Kane. Now, of course, this is back during the era where everything was credited to Bob Kane, even though Bob Kane had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was really written by David Verne. In real life, it was David Reed, with pencils by Dick Sprang.
That's quite a name.
Well,
Sorry.
Dick Sprang, of course, is a classic. I mean, basically the silver age of Batman comics in the 1950s. It's Dick Sprang. Like that. He is one of those old school. I mean, when you talk about old school Batman artists, it's like Jerry Robinson, Dick Sprang. Like, these are the names that we like. Like they were the ones writing the comics that led to the Adam West show.
Makes sense.
But yeah, this is I knew this was based on an actual comic book story. I didn't realize, though, until I did my prep for this episode, how freaking far back it goes. And I found the story. It was actually this would have been back. Okay, hold on, doing my math here. 9 plus 5. So 2014. Actually, it would have been in 2015 when they released the Joker, a celebration of 75 years collection. This story is one of the issues included in that anthology.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just going by his name. I'm like, that's a good porn name, just
Well,
or it's a good excuse to tell your wife when you didn't do your job. Sorry, my Dick Sprang.
I will go ahead and warn you, not the first time. This may be the first time. This will not be the last time we're talking about Mr. Sprang during this season of the new Batman adventures.
Gotcha. So get all the jokes out now.
You just work it out, because we're going to be talking about him again. So just get your jollies off right now, Dave. I'm just saying.
Good to see you, Eric. We got James Newport. We got somebody new watching today, so good to see you. Good to see you. We also got Ryan.
Ooh, yes.
Joker not afraid of Batman, but terrified of the IRS. Yes, that's true. We figure out that the Joker is more afraid of the IRS than he is of Batman.
Wouldn't you be?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, they're no joke, but yeah. I mean, this episode starts off pretty exciting. It starts off with Joker and Harley at at an electronics store. It's like,
no, it's an expo. It's
expo.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's that big one in Vegas?
CES.
Yes, think of that, but in Gotham, and that's what they're holding up, because what I what I think I remembered about this episode was that I loved how it kept some continuity with World's Finest. Because remember the conversation that Gordon and Bullock have at the antique store at the beginning of part one? I think
Mm-hmm.
he goes, word on the street is Joker's strapped for cash these days. And then I think Joker also mentioned something to Lex Luthor in
Yes.
the limo. So it's continuing this idea this season that Joker's on hard times. Like he doesn't have the cash flow right now.
Yeah.
So I like that continuity a little bit.
No, that does work, and we definitely see that. I mean, right off the bat, you're just kind of like, all right, there's a shootout that's happening. Joker's firing away. You got people running. You got Batman already involved. And he's
Already involved.
Yes, Batgirl shows up. I mean, she makes like a little surprise thing because then it's like, okay, we're seeing like kind of like a showdown between Joker and Batman. He throws a batarang, almost hits Harley, and she's just like, "Hey!" And then like and then what was it? She says something to Joker. I forgot what it was, but that's basically where they start establishing that they're broke. And then Batgirl comes in and kind of like,
because like he's like because he runs out and he drops
the clips. Yes.
Yeah, he drops the magazine out of the I need more bullets. We don't have any. They're expensive.
Yes. And then Batgirl comes in, takes down Harley Quinn and goes, I guess you have a cash flow problem or something like that. A good superhero one-liner as you take somebody down, and Batgirl does a good job with that. Yeah, so we get all that, and then I love it because in pure Joker fashion, Batman does, he gets him, punches him in the face, and then it kind of reminded me of Batman '89 when he got punched in the face and then he had the fake teeth pop out.
Yeah, you want to hit a man with glasses, would you?
Yes, yeah. But then he goes like, yeah. So this time he goes like, my eye, and then the eye pops out. Of course, not real eye, but this one is actually like a fucking like little explosive. It's like,
well, first thing you think it's just like a gas ball.
Yeah, but then
it just like goes boom, like explosion. Yeah,
and Batman was like, oh shit, that ain't gonna be just that. He grabs Batgirl and they just like dive over like something, and then it just blows up. And perfect little getaway, but not really because they they forget the bag that they were of all the stuff that they stolen. Kid, you almost feel sorry for him. You almost feel sorry for him because like you went through all that and you forgot the bag, and then of course Joker gets upset, and then they run out of gas
in the middle of the empty road. Okay, I'm sorry.
I know. I know. No cars on the road.
No car. And of course, also it's Gotham. Who would be out at night? Let's
you could look at it like that. You could take that logic in, but at the same time, if there was some convention that was happening where people were still there, it's probably very early in the evening.
Yeah. But who knows? The sky's always red in Gotham.
Exactly.
Daytime, nighttime, it doesn't matter. The sky's always red in Gotham.
I mean, the people that live in Gotham probably like the people that live in Dark City. They just don't know if there's ever a day. they just go about their lives going like, wait a minute, there never has been really daytime. What? It's always just red.
Oh,
great movie, by the way.
Great movie. Watch the director's cut. Not gonna lie.
Always.
Yes. Always.
Yeah. So, but so then they run out of gas, and of course the Batmobile comes comes drifting over around the corner because
the little Tokyo drift going. Like,
they
I mean, just take a corner, do they?
No, you can't when you're driving something like the Batmobile, and we all know that Bruce Wayne, he's got to get his jollies off a little bit. So he's gonna increase the adrenaline by doing that, and then of course like. It's so sad because again, we're seeing the toxic relationship between Joker and Harley is the fact that he's just like, all right, well, I'm out of here. And he has an ejector seat. And then she's like, why don't I have one? And he's nope, couldn't afford it.
Could only afford one.
Yes. It's like, geez, he's so, oh man, she's so pissed. She is so pissed, of course. And then, of course, she gets, obviously, can't get Joker. Might as well just get Harley in there. And then we see where Joker's been living in some crappy rundown apartment with the
No-tell
hyenas.
motel. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It was kind of
oh,
like a yeah, kind of like that. And it's kind of funny because the lady at the front desk, I wish she goes like, I got a message for Mr. Kerr.
Joker. I like
Yes.
ass.
Uh,
I
good stuff.
appreciated that. And
Yeah.
by the way, your rent is 2 months overdue.
Yeah. And he's just, you can just see he's down on his luck. But it's just kind of funny because it's like, I mean, you almost would be like, hey guys, the Joker's like, she could just make a phone call, maybe get a reward. But maybe he has something on her. Maybe she's like in a fear for her
She
life.
seems really feared for life. I think it's more just kind of like she's just like, it's Gotham. I run a shitty hotel.
Yeah.
This is the kind of clientele that I would have in a place like this. I mean, you don't ask questions. You just give them their mail, hope they pay their rent on time, go about your business. Don't bother me.
Absolutely. And hey, Rhea, good to see you. Good to see you.
Rhea!
And also, yeah, Jason McKenzie's also here. Hoy,
Ahoy,
hoy.
hoy.
But yeah, so and then we got the hyenas that are in the
Okay,
room.
was this the first time we had this discussion? I think this is the first time, and I think I mentioned this. We finally hear their names.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did that. The names are mentioned because I don't think we'd heard them in previous. No.
No, and I think the first time the hyenas appeared, I think I did one of my little I got notes thing, and I talked
Yeah.
about the hyenas, and I talked about how we weren't going to get their names until this episode. And of course, they're named Bud and Lou. And I think we had this conversation. So do you remember why the hyenas are called that?
I totally forgot.
It's Abbott and Costello.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the first names of Abbott and Costello, Bud and Lou.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I was like trying to, when you were saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, you did say that. I was like, yeah, couldn't remember the name.
Dave.
I know. Hey,
I mean, I should be surprised how long did it take you to get standards and practices. I mean,
exactly. It took me forever to, yeah, exactly. So you should expect nothing less.
nothing less from Dave. Nothing less.
Nothing less. But yeah, so we get we're seeing Joker down on his luck and in this crappy room and with them. And I love how he just goes, he's all, yeah, I don't have any food, why don't you guys just eat each other? He's just like, get away
That would
from
be
me.
helpful.
Yeah, that would be definitely helpful. But then, of course, the letter that he got was from King Barlow. What was his first name? King something Barlow. I forgot his first name.
What was
Yeah,
his
something.
first name? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't.
Something Barlow, but I was like, oh yeah, I didn't write his first name. I think I actually said it, but I remember it was like King Barlow. Anyways, who is it?
No. I'm saying like they do say his first name, but it's still he's the King Barlow.
Yes, exactly. In
old
the
school
underground.
monster,
Yes, totally just that. And yeah, he's basically he's all like Joker said, like, I hated that guy. I mean, he basically does that thing where he's like, he talks a little shit, says how much he hated the guy, but then he realizes that he passed away, and he left him $250 million.
$1 million.
Holy crap! So then he goes, and I love it because again, it's Mark Hamill. And he goes like, I'll take back almost every bad thing I said about him. Almost every. I love that. The fact that he said
almost every. It's that way he goes. Almost everything I ever said about him.
Yeah, exactly. Not everything. Not even $250 million could have Joker take back every bad thing he said about him. It's just a good line. I just thought that was a funny line. But yeah, so then it was just like, okay. All of a sudden, it's like, all right, here's the Joker's millions. And then it's just like, all right, now we get this news report of basically like it's been like Joker.
By the way,
okay,
that's a character.
Who?
The news reporter.
Who's the character?
It's Jack Ryder.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea. I had a feeling because they show like multiple characters. I'm like, somebody probably right here. And
yeah, the news guy, the news guy there is Jack Ryder.
Okay, so that makes sense. And then I was wondering, is there any voices that are here?
No voices there. No, the big deal is that if you can just spot that the newscaster is Jack Ryder. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And then Joker's basically paying the lawyers and everything, everybody, just to basically clear his
There was a
name.
90s reference, by the way.
What was yeah?
It
What
was
was it?
okay. OJ's lawyer. What was his
Oh,
name?
Cochran.
Cochran. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because he did his own variation of basically the if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And
true that.
I
True
forgot what
that.
the
Huh?
line was. He said in this, but
Hmm.
I was like, oh man, Cochran reference. Okay, yeah,
Did not catch that. That's pretty funny. That's pretty
yeah.
funny.
Oh god.
Well, yeah. So basically, he's just wiping, and then of course they hire this like psychiatrist that says like, and I love it when he's like showing him like the cards. At first you see an R, and then you see a bat, and then Joker's just like looking at it, and he's like shaking his head, and it's like, oh yeah, I gave him an evaluation. He's totally fine, and like of course like the guy's like, oh yeah, he's totally fine. He adjusts his glasses because he knows he's lying, and then he gets into like a nice fancy car, and
With
it's like,
with a hot blonde in the
yeah,
passenger
exactly.
seat. Yeah.
So it's like they're emphasizing that, yeah, he's fully paid off. He's totally, it's just it's all there. And then of course we get like after after all that. I mean, I love it when we get to the Bat Cave. I love it when you hear the sound of the Bat Cave. You hear that the dripping and you hear stuff, and then of course Batgirl is just like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then you see Batman's just messing with some kind of gadget and he just breaks it, and then Batgirl goes, I'll contact Dick. It's funny, some funny
What
moments.
if Joker really has gone legit?
Yeah. I'll contact Dick. It's like she's like, I'm not messing with you because you are obviously pissed.
You're so pissed.
Because why wouldn't he? I mean, it's the
It's the
Joker,
Joker. I mean, come
and
on.
he's getting off scot-free. Everything that he has done, which Batman has had to deal with, gets wiped clean. And this is supposed to be a justice system that Batman is trying to defend.
Think about how
Of
many
course,
murders, how
yes,
many people have died
because of this man.
I know,
Yes,
right?
but
But then of
yeah.
course she calls Dick, and then
Well, we get a montage. We get that kind of
oh
like
yes,
funny little montage of him just spending his money and doing all that. And even to the point where he's on the golf course and almost runs over Bruce Wayne.
and whatever girl chickie
Yes.
he's with at
Whatever the flavor of the week is, month,
weekday,
maybe weekday. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
But exactly. It's Bruce Wayne, for God's sakes.
And just when you think you're ready to pick up the china, he forgets your phone number. Sorry, I love that line from Mask of the Phantasm so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, yeah. Watch Match to the Phantasm. You see some.
What about the I word? Engagement. Sorry, I love that scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Great scene. But yeah, so we we get that, and then of course, yeah, then there's going to be like a little bit of a celebration at the Iceberg Lounge. Now, this is our first time that we see the redesign.
No, this is the first time the iceberg. Okay,
well, yeah, that.
Yeah, like the Iceberg Lounge at all.
Yeah, we never seen the Iceberg Lounge, so we get introduced to that, and then of course we get the redesign of Oswald, which is taking more of the '66 Batman, the more
the
approach.
more comic.
Yeah, like, the more comic book. Yeah,
right. I am totally down for this redesign.
Yeah, yeah, because obviously, like when it came to the first design we got, it was more based off Batman Returns.
It was the DeVito.
Yeah, it was the DeVito one. It was more of the Fat Bird. Like now we got more of the like I said, the classic Penguin type. And we've been talking about the redesigns of some of these characters, and this is one that I think we both agree that we're totally fine with.
Oh no, great. I mean, he has all 5 fingers. He doesn't have the flipper hands. Like they finally moved away from the DeVito look from Returns. They give him a more comic accurate. I mean, this is the way Penguin looks in the comics.
Yes.
And I am totally down with that because Paul Williams' voice really fits for this, design of Penguin. And and I like this because this is also Penguin like he's gone legit because he's running the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah.
It's a hot spot. I mean, that's why I was so excited in Matt Reeves' The Batman, that the Iceberg Lounge was a setting in the movie because how much it's Penguin's like operation. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
So good.
I love what Burton did to redesign the Penguin, and he did a good job. But to me, I like Mobster, Iceberg Lounge, Penguin more than. I mean, even though
Grotesque,
I'm not saying that.
circus freak,
Yeah, not
penguin. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I like that, and that's why obviously with Colin Farrell, and of course that Penguin freaking trailer. Oh, cannot wait for that. So yeah, so we get that, and then of course Babs and Dick are in line, and I love Babs just like working her. I guess you could say her not her nepotism. No, but no, like more like, hey, she's got the clout of being the commissioner's daughter.
Yes,
So
and she's acting like a brat. Like, if
yes.
I was a brat, this is how I would behave to get into an exclusive place.
Yeah, I know. She just goes like, "Hey, it would be sad if," and just kind of yells it out. And then, of course, Oswald's like, "Well, of course, man." And then he says, like under his breath, "You spoiled little brat." Like he's just like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, have a good time." And it was like, "Yeah," but she worked her magic, and they get in, and then of course it's like, "All right, trying to scope the place out," and then, it's kind of cool. These are the moments that I really liked about this episode, is the fact that we have Dick and Babs going into this place to kind of investigate. There's just little moments. I think what this episode shines is just like these little moments. It's not really much full on action. There's just little moments that you just kind of giggle and go, yeah, okay. Like you said, Iceberg Lounge, nice to get that introduced.
Reminds me a little bit of like the South Seas Club from The Rocketeer.
Oh,
Just,
there you go.
I mean, because instead of like the giant shell on stage, there's actually like an iceberg that the band is on.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
I had to do a rewatch of The Rocketeer.
Oh,
It's been a bit.
dude.
It's been a bit.
Trust me. With our second topic tonight, I'll be talking a lot about The Rocketeer.
Yeah,
Not
I
gonna
know.
lie.
Jeez. Yeah. Talk about the time period. So yeah, they get in there, and then of course there's the Joker's in there, and basically like let's see, we got Burlow's guys, because we have like Barlow's main dude is like so pissed off. We saw that in
His
the news
bodyguard.
report.
Yeah, his
His
bodyguard.
bodyguard. There you go.
Yes.
He was like, how could he leave him everything? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is ridiculous. So of course, naturally we have that moment of the goons in the fucking kitchen just it's like it's about ready to go down. Sure enough, it does go down. And that's not that's not what Oswald wants, for sure. But obviously when they start taking over the place, Babs and Dick just go, all right, time to suit up for sure. So they run off and do all that, and then of course, yeah, we get a nice little cool little action sequence with Batgirl and Nightwing
I know, in costume,
in
nonetheless.
costume.
And then I
Yeah.
love how, like, when they say the Joker, and the Joker wants to tip them for like, thank you for saving me. Here's $100.
Yeah, I also yeah, I also love like the fact that like Joker's like grateful, and Dick just goes like, "We were saving people. You're just an inconvenient bonus." And then he reaches in his pocket, gives him like some $100 bills or whatever, and they both just go, "Shh," and then just walk off. It's like, no, fuck off, seriously. It's like ridiculous because ugh. Because one thing this is when we got the montage, right? Or we got more. Maybe was in the wrong order because
No, because this is his going legit party. No, I think
maybe
the
there was.
montage comes after this because
Yes,
he spends all the money, and then he wants to do then he wants a new Harley. And
yes, yeah. I think maybe we got a little bit out of order, but yeah, because we do like we have the montage, because then we cut to Harley, who thinks that now that because he's just like spending his money, he's literally throwing it out, like almost like in Batman '89 style, just like throwing
yeah,
it.
I thought the same thing, because
Yeah.
he's got like he's making the little paper airplanes out of
Yes.
dollar bills, and it almost reminds me of the blah blah blah. Who do you trust? Who do you trust? I'm giving away free money.
We're yeah, exactly. So so he's basically just throwing it out there, and then of course Harley and Arkham next to Ivy, again, multiple characters in this this episode. which is kind of cool about that. What I like about this episode, and she's just like, and, because Harley's just like, I'm so glad. She's like happy for him, and Ivy's just like, you're an idiot. And then
Well,
Harley,
because she thinks he's gonna spend like all the money he's spent to like wipe his record clean and get him free. She's like, oh, now that he's all established, he'll come buy my freedom. And it's like, no,
nope.
sweetie.
And then it's in the newspaper, it says that Joker is looking for a new hench girl. It's like, and then she, of course, I love that shot like outside the gates of Arkham, and then I'll kill him. She just screams out. It's like, okay, yeah. So she's pissed. And then yes, we get Joker looking for a new Harley, and we get a bunch of people dressed up in the Jester outfit, and it's not quite working.
No, especially one particular individual that it really doesn't work, and I think it's really funny who it's supposed to be.
Who is it supposed to be? It's the dude at the end that goes, oh,
It's Paul
right?
Dini.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes, it's Paul Dini.
So. I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, that's probably like Paul Dini or somebody, because it's just going to be some kind of gag.
It's totally a gag because Paul Dini wrote this episode.
Yeah, so, I saw that.
Yeah,
I love how like they open up the episode with a big computer and it shows Joker's Million.
Yes, okay. Well, let's go back to that for a second. I appreciated that because since season 3 gets rid of the title cards, that was as close to like a title card opening as we get in season 3.
I almost used it for the thumbnail, but I saw like his shot of him that we haven't got to yet. I just thought, I'll just use that one, but I almost used that screenshot. I was like, yeah, I even thought about that too when the episode was playing. I was like, well, there's the screenshot to use for the thumbnail, but I didn't, but maybe I should have. But yeah, the Joker's face right there.
Yeah.
But so, and then he lands on somebody who looks like Harley, but man, is her voice. Yikes.
Yeah, fake Harley. And
fake
literally
Harley.
that is her credit in the voice in the end credits. Fake Harley.
Fake Harley. And you know what's so funny? At first I was like, I know that voice. I kept on going, oh, and then it hit me and I was like, fuck.
Okay, who is it? Because I didn't recognize it at all.
Have you watched Friends?
Once years ago.
Okay, so you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. No.
It's Maggie Wheeler. She was a recurring character on Friends. She one of the main characters, Chandler.
Yeah.
It was like somebody that he kept on going back to, and she had a very annoying voice. Her name was Janice.
Yes. Yes. I remember this character.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And then she'd go, and she would laugh. So like when I heard the voice, I was like, oh fuck, I know that voice. And then I kept hearing it, I was like, and then I'll finally like probably like almost when I heard it, like when we get towards like the final little battle there, I was like, it's Janice. Fucking Janice. And then I did look at the end because I wanted to make sure.
Right. No, like, that's fair. Right. That's completely fair. Yes.
Yeah, because normally I don't like to look because I like to be surprised. But I was like, it finally hit. But yeah, Maggie Wheeler, who played Janice on Friends, was the fake Harley voice. That's funny. And then of course we get somebody from the IRS. His name is Terry.
I was about to say the real villain of the story appears.
This guy,
the Internal Revenue Service.
Holy shit! He shows up and he's to Joker in his new and I love it. I love it when like because like Joker like he bought this new mansion, and I love it when they show it being like painted the Joker colors.
Yes, exactly.
That was pretty funny. Like I said, this episode is just ridiculous, but
yes,
it's ridiculous.
Well, we're going to talk about that, but I feel like that, yes, it's over the top. It's ridiculous. It really worked when you realize that it's based on a comic story from 1952. That tracks. Like you know that if you think of that era of Batman, Silver Age Batman, this tracks. But the guy comes in, of course, like, okay, you've inherited $250 million. It's time for Uncle Sam to,
God, and the way that he says it too, you just want Joker to blow him away. Like, ugh. Just the way he's so cocky and just like, oh, well, yeah, it's like
he walks to the Joker.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
So confident.
I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah. So you're right. He is the actual villain.
This is the villain because this Joker was going to go straight.
Yeah.
And the IRS made him a villain again. That's just
See?
see?
Right
Taxes.
there, guys. That just
That's what
shows
taxes
you
do to
right
you.
there.
Yeah. Mhm.
Joker was trying to live his life as a rich man, and the IRS said, "Nope, you got to pay taxes on this inheritance. Sorry." And what was it, $130 million, something like
Something
that?
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So
130 million. So they wanted more than half.
yeah, it's crazy, absolutely insane, absolutely insane. And then of course Joker is like freaking out. So we're like in his safe, and they're packing up a bunch of money.
I know. I love how he's like making a bag.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop a bag of money with the IRS because he's like, oh, I'll take on Batman, but even I'm not crazy enough to take on the IRS.
That's a good line too. Oh, it's such a good line. But then all of a sudden it's like, hey boss, there's something weird about these, or I think it's fake Harley that
It's fake
points it out.
Harley.
Yeah. And she points out that, hey, there's Barlow's face on the dollar bills. And then somebody comes in with a tape that they found. And then, of course, we see Barlow, who is in a hospital bed. Apparently, he had a smoking problem, addiction.
Yeah,
Yeah, he died of, he was,
probably lung cancer.
yeah, yeah, teeth falling out, a lot of things.
A lot of
But
splotches, a lot of liver
yeah,
splotches.
they did
Yeah,
a pretty good job of showing him really sick.
yeah.
And then of course he just basically goes like, yeah, I
Fuck
promise you
you.
this. Yeah, I gave you $10 million of real money that you probably already
Blew
spent
through.
because you're the Joker, and the rest of it is all bullshit. And it was like, oh, twist
And of
right
course,
there.
he can't tell because the only way to not have to pay the IRS, the inheritance tax, is to have to admit that he didn't actually inherit that much money. But if he admits that he got duped by Barlow, he's going to be the laughing stock of the underworld. So it's like,
Exactly.
keep up the lie and figure out some way to pay the IRS money he actually doesn't owe because he didn't actually inherit that much, or look like a complete jackass and admit, no, I didn't inherit $250 million and Barlow played the biggest prank on me.
Yep. So he's a Joker in a hard place. That's for I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, it's like, what do you do? So then of course he has to think about it, and then he almost shoots fake Harley. I mean, he like gets close, like
I like how like his lawyer like goes and goes, boss,
yeah.
no.
Ernie, his
Ernie.
lawyer Ernie, who is just like, hey, no, you might not want to do that. And like, yeah, I mean, he comes down, he pulls out the gun and is just about ready to do it, but Ernie says no. And then of course we cut to the Iceberg Lounge, and I started tripping out right here. I don't know if you did, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because at first when you see it, you go, was that a animation
No, see,
mistake?
I
Because
remember
I don't
it.
remember this part.
But it's funny though, too, is that it looks different, but it kind of resembles what he ends up looking like by like Justice League. Like when they redesign him for the third time. It's
Yeah.
like it's crazy. But yeah, his eye shape is not
Well,
consistent at all.
yeah, so we're back at the Iceberg Lounge for another event, and Bruce is there, and Bruce walks up to the Joker, and the Joker now does not have the black eyes and the white pupil. It's now normal. It's like how it kind of was, and you're kind of like, it threw me off. I was like, wait, was that an animation mistake? No. Oh yeah, and then it was just like, oh wait, that's not. Duh. It was like one of those things. I like how Bruce was just talking about like how you almost threw
Threw me
me
off
off.
a building.
Yeah.
Well, that was so long ago. It was last month. Establishing context that World's Finest happened a month ago.
There it is. There it is. Keeping the continuity up. You gotta love that. So then we go to the bathroom, and then that's where we see the reveal. Well, we see it before because he like literally wipes his forehead, and almost that was like homage to,
To
well,
89 too, yeah.
the reverse homage, I guess you could say,
Yes.
wiping off the flesh tone to the white. This was the opposite, but it was just like, oh yeah. And then of course he's in the bathroom and he's just like talking to himself like, yeah, Jesus Christ, I don't know. And then Bruce is already like, fuck this, I'm getting in the back costume, something is fishy. at the Iceberg Lounge. Zing. Anyway.
But dude, can you just imagine? I just take a moment, Dave.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting on the crapper in a stall, and all of a sudden, Batman is like looking down at you from like the top of the toilet stall? That would scare the shit out of me.
I mean, yeah, he probably had no problem shitting after that. That's for damn sure. Jesus Christ. But yeah, and then of course Oswald, he just was like listening in, like, how dare he like come in and like harass my customers here. You know, he's not too happy about it. But yeah, so it's just like,
of course, you hear the sound effects that kind of reminds me of that scene in Sin City where it's like, you forgot to flush.
yeah, pretty much that. And then of course now we got the Joker and his little heist that he's trying to pull off when it comes to what we got to, like, what we got, some armored trucks that are showing up to the dock.
It's the Mint.
The Mint. That's what it is.
The armored trucks are leaving the Gotham Mint, heading to the ferry so they can transport the money to wherever it's going, probably some banks or something.
And that's where we're gonna come in, because you know this final battle isn't too exciting, but it's like, yep,
it's about as much action as we get.
It's more about what was happening in the story. But I mean, naturally, you see this shadowy figure, and you're like, you already know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it, you're like, oh yeah, we already know who that is. Those cars look like the toy maker's little toy cars a little bit.
And that ferry's trucking along. Not gonna lie, ferries don't move that fast.
Going pretty fast. And then, of course, you see the white right on the back of his neck. It's like, we all know.
What I do, however, love is like when he explains, it's like, I didn't do any gags. There's no laughing gas.
Yes, smart.
It's like there's no way this can be tied to being a Joker crime, because I didn't do any of my shtick.
You know what? He did good. He did good, but he didn't expect, you know. I mean, obviously, not knowing who Batman is, he didn't expect, you know, Batman's alter ego to be at the Iceberg Lounge to
keep the boat in the water.
You know?
This definitely wasn't in the job description.
Now, of course, this part made me go, why would you dump the bag of money onto the
Because you have to show
of...
the audience, Scott. You got to show the
audience.
audience.
So long since I've seen the real thing.
You got to make sure the audience
Ben,
knows
George,
what's in the bags.
I did love that one. Hello, Ben, George, Abe.
No!
It is interesting to hear like the different sounds for this Batwing.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Not that weird, creepy hovering noise.
Ooh, and even Nightwing comes in. Gotta love that.
Bullet ricochets perfectly, you know.
No!
By the way, when she said, like, you know, when she was talking about controlling the ferry, that's when I realized it was Maggie Wheeler.
Okay, that was the moment of realization.
That was it. And then I love this right here.
Oh, this was funny. I'm gonna give it.
Don't be stupid. You can't save that
Save the money?
I don't want to save
Save it? I want to join it. I love the way he like eyes and he says that.
Ouch.
I wanted to join it.
Better call your fancy lawyers.
On me.
It's on me.
See, Batman has such a dry sense of humor. Such a dry sense of
Honest,
humor.
they told me it was an
equity gig.
These guys, yeah. Oh, and then of course we get this right here. Nice little surprise ending.
You know what though? It kind of reminds me of Harley's first appearance in Joker's Favor. Because remember, she's dressed up like the policewoman wheeling in the cake at Gordon's event.
So I'll
True that. Yeah, you're right.
My bill again. Besides, it'll be nice to see the old gang.
One of them's dying to see you too, Puddin'.
Oh,
The
dude.
one and
This
only.
is kind of dark when you think about
You
it.
don't know how happy I am to see you.
She picks
Pretty
up that
much.
Billy Club.
To the
Yeah,
club.
he's getting a beat down.
Oh, he's getting the shit knocked out of him.
I can explain. No!
I just wonder where that Billy Club ended up. Ugh.
You know what? And I'm kind of thinking about did one of them or both of them get off on that at the same time? I'm just
They probably both did.
yeah.
I'm thinking they both did.
Mm.
If there's any indication of like what we saw in the Harley Quinn series in their relationship. But there you go, guys. There's the Joker's Millions right there.
It's an okay episode. I remember thinking of. I still remember seeing this back in the 90s. I remember that when it came to the percentage of episodes in season 3, I remember there ended up being a lot of Paul Dini. I think every episode Paul Dini wrote for the season was a Joker episode, and I remember thinking there was a little too much Joker in season 3. And episodes like this were the ones that made me go, you're using the character a little too much because you're making the episodes are a little too silly.
Yeah.
And this was a silly episode. Let's not lie. Yeah.
But it's not Joker Christmas. What was that one? The Christmas one?
Oh, Christmas with the Joker. Yeah.
With the Joker. Yeah. It's not that silly. But it's pretty silly. I do like I said, there's some, like I said, there's the moments in this are mainly the funny little moments, but it's true. It's a silly episode. But what do we have next week before we start getting into some other things here?
Dude, next week's a good one.
Oh,
next week is Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. It's a Batman episode.
Uh-huh.
Growing Pains. Which one is this one? It's not the Clayface. No.
Yeah.
Okay, shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
All right, there it is. But I was like, is that the Clayface one? Then okay. Yep. Ooh, yep. Yeah. You're right.
It's a
very good episode. Because I was like, yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. I just got goosebumps. Yeah, it's a good episode. Definitely a good episode. So yeah, tune in that for sure. But right now, we're gonna talk about the new animated trailer that we got today, and we've been talking about it on the we've been talking about the voice casting and all that stuff, but man, we got a nice little trailer today that is Batman Caped Crusader coming August 1st, baby.
By the way, did you read the IGN article that came along with IGN exclusively dropping the trailer like an hour before everyone else?
Sadly, I did not.
Okay, I'm going to fill you in on some stuff because I read the article.
Okay.
So first thing I want to say before we look at the trailer, all 10 episodes dropping on the first, like the whole season.
Okay, so no weekly shit.
Okay. But that's an Amazon thing. Amazon usually will, on their season 1s, will drop everything to get people hooked on the binge model. And then if the show gets picked up for future seasons, they tend to drop them weekly after that.
Yeah. So yeah, all 10, great, fantastic. So man, that weekend, you realize that weekend is it's Rebel Moon director's cuts, and it's the M. Night Shyamalan Trapped movie.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I'm so fucked that weekend.
So that weekend is just going to be absolutely fucking insane.
I'm trying to think. I'm going to have 10 episodes of Batman to watch. I'm going to have over 6 hours of Rebel. When am I going to have the time?
Yeah, and then make it out to the movies to check out this M. Night Shyamalan movie that is very, like, when you watch that trailer, you go, oh, I got to watch that. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
You just watch it, you go, holy shit, that's a concept. Man. Anyways, so we have this little trailer that is just, yep, it's all, I mean, I always forget what the main dude's name is.
Hamish Linklater.
That's right. At first, when with the tease, I was wondering about his voice, but I'm not gonna lie. Like here, his voice is like, I thought it was a little too much, but here it's actually like, okay, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. Look at this. Look at this tone.
Everyone's mind.
Oh, the musical score.
And the old school tiny radio type of voiceover thing.
Yes.
The whole city's gone to hell in a handbasket.
Clayface, Firefly.
Clayface, right?
Yeah, that's
Clayface.
City's
Gone to hell in a handbasket.
And Firefly.
He's breaking the law, ain't he?
Hey, breaking the law, huh?
Freak and lock him up.
I know, right?
I won't say it's going to be easy, but catching criminals is what we...
Montoya,
Montoya, and then of course
Gordon.
Who's voicing Gordon again? Is that Ernie Hudson?
I think
Dude.
it's. I don't remember who's voicing Gordon.
I thought I read that it was Ernie Hudson.
Okay.
So this one dresses up like
There's
Dracula.
Barbara.
That's Barbara, yeah.
Because
So
they
what?
gave her red
We're
hair.
gonna take him down. What do we know about this Batman?
This reminds me of Phantasm.
He's been
Like that.
beating
Yeah, a
the
little
tar
bit.
out of muggers and dope peddlers out there the last few weeks.
He's mostly been seen at night driving that hot rod of his 100 miles
I
an hour.
like the Batmobile. I
Yeah,
like it.
I mean, it's very old school. I love that.
It's very 40s.
He's mostly been seen at night driving that hot
Look at that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit, if you go back to what the original Batmobile that was actually just Bruce Wayne, the red roadster that was
Miles
just
an hour.
Bruce Wayne's car.
And then you got the little levers and like the little switches right here that show like
toggle switches.
He's even attacking our brave police.
Nice car.
This man is not a hero. He's a criminal.
Look at that.
And his time in Gotham is
I'm
up.
guessing that's the mayor. That's Wayne Manor right there.
Yeah, I know that's Wayne Manor. It's such a cool shot with that lightning bolt behind it. Oh my god!
Mischief afoot.
And I will say though, I'm not sure if I like the fact that Alfred is a little
tubby.
Yeah, I'm like.
But once again, going back to the era of comics, that was how Alfred looked in his first appearance. So that's the thing. This is very much like where Batman looks the way Bob Kane drew him in like Detective 27.
Yeah.
And so
Freddy did draw him a little portly, huh?
Yeah. So so when Alfred first appeared, this is how Alfred looked. So it's just keeping with that golden age period of Batman comics. So yeah, if you might not like that voice, I like it because he's just down here.
Yeah, so like I mean, his voice sounds better here, like than like when we got that little tease when he's reading off all the cast members. Yeah,
peculiar.
See, peculiar.
There's something more going on here.
That all sounds good.
It's just like Stone Noir, like voiceover narration. The score. Oh, I love it. That's got to be Falcone. Then we got Catwoman.
I love how Catwoman is wearing high heels.
That's what
I know. I get it.
Like
I get
original appearance. Like I
love
love it.
It's just like it doesn't make sense, but I get it.
The kings don't run this
There's
world
Harvey.
anymore.
There's Harley.
Harley.
And then
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia, which is like random. Like what? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Kevin Smith tweeted about it because Kevin Smith created Onomatopoeia on his Green Arrow run.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, no.
That.
That Green Arrow run that Kevin Smith did is chef's kiss, and Onomatopoeia was a creation. So Kevin Smith tweeted this out and was like, "Dude, Onomatopoeia, my guy, he's in there."
That's so cool. I love that.
He goes,
bang, bang. Look out! We could be looking at an all-out gang war on the streets.
Oh, and by the way, that boat that shot that, it was Iceberg Lounge.
Oh yeah.
This is a losing battle. 100 other monsters will show up to replace anyone.
And Bader sounds different. I like Bader's sound. Penguin looks creepy.
Yeah, got everybody here. Who's that?
See, with the way I'm curious because with the fist,
it almost looks like it's Clayface,
right?
Because he got a fist to the face, and so it's like, it's almost like he's playing like a Hugo Strange type, or I don't know. It's just
exactly weird. That's exactly where my head was going with all of this. Yes,
replace anyone you take down. Probably.
Was that not?
But now they'll all know I'm coming for them.
Oh,
what's that? What the hell?
Gentleman Ghost. That's what that is. Hey, rewind a little bit. I loved thinking about like my brain because they said in the article that they even took inspiration from movies that would have been popular in the 30s and the 40s. So like there's even like Batman dueling, probably Gentleman Ghost. They have the dueling scene. It's totally like the Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
But that also makes me think of the Laughing Bandit from The Rocketeer, which is just a play off of Errol Flynn and Robin Hood. So
but now they'll all know I'm coming for them.
Dude, his voice sounds really good right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
that scene right there.
Then you also gotta love just the henchmen with the Tommy guns outside like that. Very Dick Tracy, fucking.
Very
shadow.
Dick Tracy, yes.
Oh. Yes, baby.
I love the piano in that score.
Dude.
Oh, so you didn't read the IGN article, but the IGN article had Bruce Timm, James Tucker, and Hamish Linklater all part of the interview. And it was funny because Bruce Timm acknowledged, I remember hearing a rumor several years back that they were going to possibly do continuation episodes of Batman the Animated Series. And Bruce Timm was not interested in that at all. Like he was like, no, that's done. I'm not interested in continuing that. So I think James Tucker was like in an elevator with Bruce Timm, was like, okay, Bruce, so what would you want to do? Like, what would entice you to come back and do Batman animation again? And the idea was think about everything you didn't get to do with Batman the Animated Series, and then do that. And so the idea was put it in the 40s. Make it a period piece. Talking about Hamish's voice, make Batman more unrelatable.
Ooh.
So the idea is, if you listen to Hamish's voice, it's very monotone. It's the idea is that he is not human. He is disconnected from the world because he is Batman. And that was the idea of his Batman voice. So, you were talking about the gag that said Bruce Timm said Hamish won the role based on his Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently Hamish was doing a movie in like Minnesota, went out to his car and had to like turn off everything so he could record lines for the audition. Apparently he loved the animated series. And wanted to get and loved the chance to audition. And Bruce Timm said when Kevin got the role back in the 90s, the problem was they couldn't find anyone who could do the Batman voice. So it was the Batman voice that Kevin did that won him the role. Bruce said now everyone could do a Batman voice, but no one had a really interesting take on Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So Hamish's take on Bruce Wayne is, what does it sound like when a guy who is Batman pretends to sound like what you think a Playboy should sound like?
Ooh, and we haven't heard.
We don't hear Bruce Wayne at all in this trailer.
Yeah. That's what I was like wondering, if we were actually going to hear Bruce Wayne, but
no. So basically so Hamish is going with the fact that he is Batman 24/7. So Bruce Wayne is literally an act he plays. And what does it sound like when someone who's so disconnected from reality, because he's just all in this Batman world in his head. So when he goes out and has to pretend to be Bruce Wayne, it's, what does Batman think a 1940s Lothario sounds like?
So now,
I'm like, what does that sound like? I want to know what that Bruce Wayne sounds like.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because obviously we got Matt Reeves that is involved with it, and he's kind of taken that little bit of approach too, because I mean, the Batman is mainly Batman, and when he's Bruce Wayne, it's awkward. It's weird. It's like, so there's like a little approach there where it's like, he hasn't found his Bruce Wayne yet. So maybe they're kind of taking that approach here, but of course, in a different era.
Yeah, so and so they talked about the fact, because James Tucker wasn't part of Batman the Animated Series. He joined in about season 3. Like what we're watching right now, this is when James Tucker jumped into the DCAU. So he's enjoying kind of getting to be on the ground floor of this Batman animated series. They talked about, getting to be creepier. They talked about getting to, they wanted to go for they want the tone of the show to be like what would have been popular to watch in the movies in the 30s and the 40s. Yeah. And then let's reflect that in this series.
Well, I still remember like the call, like when we first heard about the series a while ago. I mean, Bruce Timm basically said that it's more Batman the Animated Series than Batman the Animated Series. And when he said that, I think collectively everybody went, yeah, sold.
Right.
All
Because
right.
he
You're
talked about
telling me
how,
that there's not going to have, they're not going to hold back a little bit. Okay.
well, and then also they wanted to go more. I mean, the original series had noir in it.
Yeah.
But this is going to be more like Pulp Fiction. So they're like, they want to think about like the Shadow, the Spider, Doc Savage, like
The
those
spirit. Yeah.
the spirit. Yeah. So it's like that's the tone they're going for in this. And then, like I said, we did find out that they're going to drop all 10 episodes, at one time. That the article compared a little bit to like X-Men had like a narrative structure that followed throughout a season. Batman, those early episodes were all like the Batman was always standalone. Like every episode was like in itself. So what James Tucker and Bruce Timm said is that every episode is going to be able to stand alone on its own because each of them will have the A story that's like this is the episode, but they are going to have a B plot that's going to run through the entire season.
Cool.
So that all the episodes will tie together.
Yeah. So it's not going to just be, okay, cool. I like that.
They said that they're making changes to he said, we didn't make changes to characters just for the sake of making changes. We basically played the what if game and use that as a challenge to say, what can we do with this character if fill in the blank? So what if Harley was a character who wasn't a Joker who, there's no Joker in this season. So Harley exists without the Joker.
Or is there? No, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But there's like, so what does Harley look like? And so that was a lot of what they did was they were like Catwoman. They're not going with anti-hero. No, she's a cat burglar. She's a villain. Like she's just bad. Like, but the idea is that James Tucker said, they said Batman is going to be more Spock than Spock. And so that the Bat-Cat relationship is going to be Catwoman stirs things in him. And there's Star Trek references that you wouldn't get, so I'm not going to bother with it right now. But the idea is that the reason that the Bat-Cat relationship is interesting in this series is that for the first time he's feeling things, and Catwoman is making him feel these things, and he's like, I got to stop that. No, I can't feel these things because I got to be Batman.
Again, there's some parallels to the Batman. I mean,
yeah, there really is.
Yeah. I mean, there is some, but again, it's still fresh because of the time period that really just makes it different. So, but yeah, I like this approach of like, okay, obviously Batman has gotten into this, hey, he's this playboy billionaire who also is Batman, and it got to a point where it's like, okay, we know it, but then it's like, all right, then Matt Reeves, and now same with this, and even helping with this is like, well, we gotta freshen up Batman a little bit and show like a different kind, somewhat bring back some of that old school. Yeah, so I don't know. That trailer was freaking awesome. Saw everybody talking about it, and yeah, it's pretty freaking cool.
It was funny. It's like this was a quote Bruce Timm had about Caped Crusader. We didn't have the same kind of limitations that we had back in the 90s where it was made specifically for a children's audience, and we had to worry about making sure they would sell a certain number of toys.
Always the toys.
Oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about toys. It's like, what do you think these shows are for? That was the 80s. By the 90s, that wasn't the thing. And it's just weird.
I love the fact that it's like, okay, we don't have to really worry about that now. So it's like, I mean, the toys aren't like a big factor now.
Yeah. But there were shots in that trailer that, there was a sword fighting scene that looked like Errol Flynn's Adventures of Robin Hood. There's a picture that scene of Dent standing in front of his vote Dent that totally looked like Citizen Kane.
Yep.
That famous image Joycey from Citizen Kane. So
yep.
This series is going to be, I feel really good, and I really like Hamish's Batman voice. It really looks like it's going to work for, this series. It's I'm down. I really want to hear what that Bruce Wayne sounds like.
I know, and I love the fact that they didn't even show it. It was like, I was like, I wanted to hear it, but I'm like, I'm gonna save it. It's okay, save it for another time. It's all about Batman, and they're emphasizing that this is, like you said, it's gonna be mainly, it's gonna be big time Batman. not so much Bruce. But yeah, kind of curious to hear that Bruce Wayne too. So there you go, guys. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then, yeah, William says, animated Batman I could watch. Yeah. Well, you didn't like the regular Batman, the animated series?
I don't. It's William.
William. He has his he has his choices of things. We get it. That's what we love about him, for sure. But yeah, we can't wait, and I know you guys can't wait either. And yes, when we get to it, we will be talking about. I mean, who knows when we'll? I mean, we have a lot to cover before we get to this.
Yeah, especially when they're dropping all 10 episodes, like at one time, dude.
Yeah. But we'll get to it eventually on this stream for sure. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. And like I said, Growing Pains, great episode. That'll be next week at the same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, hopefully you guys tune into that. Go ahead and plug away, Scott.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter X at ScottDC27, on Instagram at McMurlin, and on Vero at Scott McClellan. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, where podcasts can be found. We're also on Vero, Facebook, and YouTube with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com.
There it is. All right, guys, smash that like, thumbs up. We'll see you on Friday. We've got the Vodka stream. I'm sure we'll be talking more about this with the panel, as well as, well, I think there's something else that happened this week. Not quite sure what happened this week. I don't know. But we'll be talking about the things of the week. And yeah, so do all that. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later.